This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Nevada. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of the University of Nevada and Learfield.
Welcome inside our Champion Chevrolet studios for a new episode of Wolfpack All Access. I'm your host this week, Shannon Kelly. We hope you're enjoying the holiday season so far. The Nevada men's basketball team begins its quest for a Mountain West title under seventh-year head coach Steve Alford with its first league game of the season against Boise State. Both teams entering this matchup with an 8-3 record in non-conference play. Here's a look at the highlights between the Pack and Broncos, delivered by BTX Global Logistics. The Wolfpack looking for its first victory against the Broncos in Reno since 2023. Nevada big man Elijah Price looking for an open man here with seconds left on the shot clock as Miles Walker banks in the catch-and-shoot three. Pack up by 4. A few minutes later, Peyton White with a strong drive to the basket after he thought about a three. Late first half, the Pack turning defense into offense. Price with a huge steal and turns it into points. Then, about a minute later, Broncos lose the ball again. It finds the hands of Caleb Lowry, who flushes it home. The slam dunk. Then, Price finds a seam here and attacks the rim. Pack up by double digits for the first time on Saturday, capping off a 7-0 run and starting to separate themselves. The offense continuing to flow. How about Tayshawn Comer here with a step-back three to extend the lead? Broncos hit a pair of back-to-back triples to cut the deficit, but Nevada would lead 34-24 at the break. Nevada scoring 14 points off of 8 first-half Boise State turnovers. Second half, the Pack keeps things rolling. Comer here with a smooth pull-up J to cap off an 8-0 run. Wolfpack couldn't be stopped on Saturday. Chuck Bailey adding to the party here, goes coast to coast. Count the bucket and the foul. The Wolfpack leading by as many as 24 points in the second half. Nevada shoots a season-high 56% from the floor as the Wolfpack win big, 81-66, your final.
We knew they was going to make every catch tough, so we prepared for it. We worked on it in practice, and we don't really turn the ball over that much anyway, but we did good today. It feels great. I mean, last year they started off 0-4, so this year it just feels great to get one before break.
We worked hard. We knew the magnitude of this game. It just feels good to start off conference on the right foot. Me and Vaughn made a comment about it during the national anthem. We were like, man, this is the most packed out it's been. So for all the fans that come, we really appreciate it. We notice it, and it gives us fire playing.
We have some off-season Wolfpack football news to pass along. Head coach Jeff Choate has hired Brett Bartoloni as its next offensive coordinator. He'll return to the biggest little city after spending the 2020 and 21 seasons at Nevada as an offensive analyst and assistant quarterbacks coach under Jay Norvell. Bartoloni helped guide Carson Strong to back-to-back Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year honors. He was most recently at Colorado as the Buffalo's tight ends coach and passing game coordinator under Deion Sanders. He also called plays during the Buffalo's final 5 games of the 2025 season and was the offensive coordinator at Jackson State under Sanders in 2022, helping guide the Tigers to a 12-1 record. Here's part of Choate's statement on hiring Bartoloni. He said, quote, "He's a winner, he's a grinder, he understands this place, and I feel he can drive us to new heights on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be a dynamic offense. It's going to feature a little bit more passing than what we've had in the past, and I think that Brett's going to be able to put together a plan week in and week out that can allow us to reach our program's goal to win a Mountain West championship," end quote. Choate has also hired a new wide receivers coach in Keith Price. He spent the last 3 years at Idaho State as the Bengals wide receivers coach. Price was a standout quarterback at Washington from 2011 to 2013, then played 4 seasons in the CFL. Part of Choate's comments on Price say, quote, he's a young man I got to know while he was playing quarterback at Washington under Coach Sarkisian. That's a really good pedigree to have from the offensive standpoint. He went on to say Keith's ability to recruit and develop talent is loud and clear. His energy is spectacular. He's a West Coast guy, a St. John Bosco grad, and he's going to help us own the LA area in the Mountain West, end quote. The Wolfpack enters the 3rd season of the Jeff Choate era next fall. Coming up a little bit later on Wolfpack All Access, we take a look at how the Wolfpack women's basketball team fared in its pair of Mountain West games this week. And we introduce you to one of the newest members of the Wolfpack men's hoops team in Corey Camper Jr. But coming up next is our one-on-one sit-down with head coach Steve Alford.
Handoff in front, Andrews. Crossover on Walker. Walker knocked the ball away. It's loose. White picks it up. Feeds Lowry ahead of the pack. Lowry all the way. Slammed out.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access, presented by Champion Chevrolet. Let's head to Legacy Hall as Alex Margulies sits down with head coach Steve Alford.
All right, thanks. Welcome inside Legacy Hall. Head coach Steve Alford coming off of the big win over Boise State. And really, Coach, I feel like this was a game where your team was able to put things together in all phases. Not much to complain about in a game that you guys really dominated from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of respect for Boise, and they came in here hot. We were hot, but, you know, they came in beating St. Mary's, winning at Butler. They've really been putting a good stretch together since opening the season. And they're big, they're physical, and I thought last year we got out-toughed, and that was our whole approach this week. And our guys are stepping that up, Alex. We're getting tougher, we're getting more physical, both mentally and physically. I like our toughness right now, and we've still got a high ceiling, but you know, we've won 5 games in a row with 2 starters out for 5. One starter out for 5 games, and then Corey has missed the last 3. So to open up league play with a win, a convincing win against a really good Boise team without 2 starters. We talked about our depth early in the season, and we just got really good depth. We got a lot of guys, all the guys we trust. When we put them in, we trust. And with those 2 starters out, it's been great seeing everybody elevate their game. And when those 2 guys come back, then I think our depth is even deeper and better. And that's going to help us moving forward, I think.
One area that your team has been elite at this year has been taking care of the basketball. You ranked 6th coming into this game nationally in terms of turnovers. How much has that been a huge part of the reason why you guys have been able to rally off these 5 wins?
Well, we've hit our offensive efficiency, I think, if not 5, 6, 7 straight games, basically from Washington on. We've hit our offensive efficiency. So you're starting to see the ball go in. And that has a lot to do with the value of the ball. Only 7 turnovers today. I think if you take away the UC Davis game where we had 17, if that game's taken out and now you're at an 11-game total, I bet we're averaging 7 turnovers, which is phenomenal. I mean, your goal's 12 or fewer. Mm-hmm. So it's just phenomenal, and we're playing against teams that can really guard, really physical, active teams, and our guys are doing a tremendous job of taking care of the ball. And now, as we learn the offense more and we start taking better shots, now you're seeing the ball go in. A month ago, I think we were in the non-con, where they just keep non-con stats of the 11 conference teams. I think we were last in three-point shooting. Now I think we're 3rd or 4th. The ball's starting to go in. We're taking good shots. But I thought tonight, what I really liked, the emphasis was finishing through contact. Mm-hmm. They don't have a shot blocker, but they're very physical at the rim. They're fundamentally sound at the rim. And that's where we've struggled a little bit. Our 2-point percentage is down. And tonight we did a really good job of attacking the paint, attacking the rim, and making shots.
You look at your team, and you talked about the bench and how last week it was the bench that carried you to a win over Duquesne. we were also talking about is like, you had 10 guys playing this game, and it seems to me like there's confidence no matter who the five are on the floor. Can you think of a time you've had a team where you could have 10 guys truly that you feel confident that they can be on the floor at the same time?
And I didn't get Ethan in the second half, but we played 11. We played 11 guys, and all 11 were either even or plus in the time that they played. And that, you don't see that very often, especially in a conference game. So playing against a really good Boise team, physical Boise team, I think they're picked second or third in preseason, and legitimately so. They're very, very good. For us to do that all from 1 through 11, against Duquesne, it was just the bench. And so to see that and the starters responded, I thought our start to the game was really good. And it was a little bit of a slow start to the second half, but I didn't have to call timeout. They scored 4 or 5 in a row, and then we bounced back and scored 4 or 5 and got the lead pushed back up again like it was at halftime. So I was just really impressed with how the starters played in this game.
Coach, enjoy your holidays.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Likewise.
Great
Merry
time
Christmas
with you and your
to
family.
Merry Christmas to the Pack family. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you in Fort Collins. Back to the studio up at NSN.
The Pack will have a little more than a week until its next game, which is at Colorado State. Tip-off against the Rams is on Tuesday, December 30th at 6 o'clock in the evening here in Northern Nevada. You can watch the game live on Nevada Sportsnet. Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, Mike Stephenson sits down with Corey Camper Jr. Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access, presented by Champion Chevrolet. Corey Camper Jr. is one of 10 newcomers on the men's hoops team this season. Mike Stephenson recently sat down with the Little Rock, Arkansas native.
My name is Corey Camper Jr., Corey Tyray Camper Jr.
Driving baseline for Nevada this time is Camper. Bucket plus the foul.
Great take by Corey Camper Jr. there and a strong finish.
I got to know about coming out of Little Rock, Arkansas, man. Just tell me where you're from and what it was like growing up there.
I'm from Little Rock, from the west side of Little Rock, Arkansas. It's very two-sided. You can either get in trouble or you can stay straight. And my family kept me on the straight path, especially with staying in church and just trying to keep it the right way.
Just tell me about the high school journey and then jumping into college, what that process was like.
Yeah, going to back-to-back state championships. We won my 11th grade year, ended up losing, coming up short of my 12th grade year. The recruiting scene was a little slow because of COVID, so a lot of my interests and offers got taken away. But luckily, I got a great coach, Coach Mike, in the JUCO, going the JUCO route.
All right, so you find your way to Tyler Junior College. How far away was that from home? What was it like to leave home and start college there?
It was definitely the farthest I've been away from home, but it was a great experience. I always say that it turns you into a man. It's definitely a different experience.
And you wind up at UTEP. What were those 2 years like as a minor?
It was great. It was definitely a learning experience, especially coming from JUCO. We played more zone-oriented, and the D1 level, you really can't just play zone the whole game. It's a different ball game, so it definitely taught me more on the defensive end of the floor.
And again, if you want a guy taking a shot, you'd rather have it. Oh, my goodness. Corey Camper.
Three-pointer, and he drains it for the Miners.
When did Nevada first come into the picture, and what were those conversations like?
It was one of the first teams to come in the picture, and I talked to Coach Neal. He made sure he told me from day one that what he wanted from me being here and what the plan was. He wanted me to be the man. He wanted me to be the scorer and be a leader. Just be a leader here and just to get the new guys that come in and take them under my wing.
What are your impressions so far of this season, of this group, and of playing for this fan base too?
I think we're a very gritty team, and I think that every guy on this team is ready. I think the ceiling is, I think everybody in the locker room has that goal of winning the Mountain West Championship and going to the NCAA tournament.
One of the Pac's top scorers has been sidelined with an injury since the Washington State game, with hopes of returning to the Wolfpack lineup soon. Before we go to break, here's Chris Murray with a look at this week in Wolfpack history, presented by Bradley Drendel and Janae.
December 21st, 1975 can rightly be considered the most important day in Nevada athletics history. It was that day athletic director Dick Trachok hired Chris Alt as Nevada's football coach. Only 29 years old, Alt returned to his alma mater after 3 seasons as an assistant at UNLV. He inherited a 3-8 Wolfpack program with tepid community support, flipping that record in his first season, as Nevada went 8-3 and established new traditions, including howitzer blasts after every Wolfpack touchdown. Over the next 40 years, Alt transformed Nevada athletics as its football coach and athletic director, guiding the Wolfpack from a Division II independent back to the major college ranks. When Alt resigned in 2012, he capped his career with 234 victories, 9 conference championships, and a spot in the College Football Hall of Fame. His innovative offenses left an indelible mark on college football and an unmatched legacy among Nevada Wolfpack greats.
I'm Izzy Sullivan with Nevada Women's Basketball, and I'm going to be answering 5 questions. My sports idol is Kelsey Plum. I grew up watching her at UW, and then ever since, she's been an inspiration. I think we play similar. I like to go to the driving range and hit some golf balls or play video games. Something outdoors, like by a beach or something, that would be pretty cool. Oh my, I think it would be Calvin Harris, I'm Not Alone. Ultimate sandwich. See, I hate sandwiches, so I'm very plain. I just like Italian, like salami, pepperoni, and cheese. And on like Italian bread, that's my dream sandwich.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access. I'm Shannon Kelly. The Wolfpack women's basketball team began Mountain West play this week with a pair of games under 9th-year head coach Amanda Levins. First up, against Colorado State, who entered Wednesday's contest with a net ranking inside the top 60. Nevada trailed 25-20 at halftime, but the Rams outscored the Pack 22-13 in the third quarter to pull away with a 61-48 win. The ladies then hit the road for Colorado Springs to take on the Air Force Academy. For the 4th straight game, the Wolfpack were unable to hit 50 points, falling to the Falcons 61-45. Air Force held Nevada to shooting a season-low 26% from the floor, and the Falcons scored 21 points off of 17 Nevada turnovers. The Silver and Blue will look to get into the win column for the first time in December and snap its 6-game skid when it hits the road for Boise State on New Year's Eve. Tip-off against the Broncos is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The ladies will then return to Lawler Event Center to host Utah State on Saturday, January 3rd. The Wolfpack's women dive team honored its 5 seniors ahead of its final meet of the season at Lombardi Pool the other day against New Mexico. The Wolfpack swept all 13 events from the Lobos on Friday to improve to 4-0 on the season. Nevada is back in the water for a meet down south against UNLV on January 23rd. We'll wrap up tonight's show with some news and notes from the Wolfpack Athletic Department right after this. Before we go on our final episode of Wolfpack All Access for 2025, the Nevada Athletic Department has a couple of notes to pass along. The 41st annual Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner is happening on Thursday, January 29th at the Reno Ballroom. This year's keynote speaker is former major leaguer, analyst, and author Eric Burns, who spent more than a decade in the major leagues. Red Panda is back at Lawler Event Center for a halftime performance during the next Wolfpack men's basketball home game, which is against San Diego State on Tuesday, January 8th. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock in the evening. The indoor track and field season is well underway, and season tickets are on sale. For $100, you can get seats for the next 4 meets this winter. The next meet is happening on January 9th and 10th at the all-new state-of-the-art indoor track at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. Plus, it's never too early to start thinking about Wolfpack baseball and softball home games. Lock in your season tickets as both squads aim to defend their Mountain West titles. Head to NevadaWolfpack.com to learn how you can secure your seats at Hickson and Piccoli Park next spring and get tickets for the upcoming Bobby Dolan dinner. That'll do it for us on our final installment of Wolfpack All Access for 2025. We hope you have a happy new year and enjoy the rest of the holiday season. We'll see you back here on Wolfpack All Access on Sunday, January 4th. Good night.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.